YouTube is undoubtedly my favorite and has been my most effective strategy to improve my French and also learn German. So today I'm super excited to share with you all the tools that you're going to need, no matter if you're going to be learning on your laptop or using your phone. And I'm going to be sharing with you the strategies to improve your listening comprehension, your speaking, your grammar, and also expand your vocabulary. So now let's jump into the tools that you're going to need. For your laptop, go ahead and install the free Language Reactor Chrome extension. There is a pro paid plan, but you do not need it. This Chrome extension basically is going to give you dual subtitles, plus I'm going to go through a bunch more features that are going to come in handy for the specific methods later. Now, if you're also going to be language learning on your phone, on the YouTube app, if you click on the description and then scroll down a little bit, you'll come up to the transcript. Now, hit that show transcript button and you are just going to get access to the whole entire auto-generated transcript, or if people add subtitles, you'll get access to those. So you can read that along as you're watching the video, plus you can activate the closed captions or the subtitles. And you can also click on the settings clog, then click on captions, and then you can auto-translate that to English or Spanish or whatever language. So you can actually have dual subtitles on your phone as well. Another setting to draw your attention to is just the playback speed option, because you can speed up or slow right down a video by increments of 0.05. It's going to help you unlock more content. The next tool is auto dubbing. So if you do watch a lot of content in your native language, sometimes the auto dubbing feature is available.
Veamos mi para ti de esta semana.
The next tool you're going to need is a notebook. You can either use a physical notebook, or what I do is I use a digital Notion note or an iPhone note. For the next tool, this is something I personally don't do for languages, but something that works for so many people, is to go ahead and create a separate YouTube account for the specific target language you are learning. The idea is that you're going to train that algorithm to only show you videos in that language, and it can just help you stay a bit more focused if you do find yourself getting a bit distracted with a very disjointed kind of YouTube channel like mine. So now let's jump into the different types of YouTube content. So I've separated them into 3 different categories. The first type of content is going to be learning content, specifically targeted at language learners. So these kind of videos are often made by language teachers, and they include things like courses, grammar explanations, pronunciation exercises. The creators of this content will sometimes use simplified language, but talk in the target language as well, or they might talk in English or in another language. The second type of content is content targeted at people who already speak a language. For example, news, vlogs, entertainment, commentary. You want to search for your interests, but in your target language. This is going to be gold for targeting that vocabulary that is actually relevant to you. So the third type of content is basically a mixture of the two. So I call this content immersive content for language learners. This is always going to be content that is spoken in your target language, but they're going to use simplified speech as well as give a slower delivery. So within this category, there's 2 different types of videos that I see a lot. The first type is comprehensible input. So these are videos that use stories or pictures or provide explanations that are at a level that is slightly above your current one. And the second type of video that I see very often in this category are vlogs, but targeting language learners. So now what's important is, how do you find the right content from these 3 categories that are going to meet your language learning goals, but also be appropriate for your level? First, it is crucial to find content that is interesting or somewhat appealing to you. If you don't do this, then you won't watch it. Second, it is so important to find content at the right level. That means not too hard, but also not too easy. This is the sweet spot for language learning. Normally, just doing a YouTube search will bring up some results. But if you're still struggling, go and find some YouTube videos where people who have already learnt your target language share specific resources that help them, because they are more than likely going to include some YouTube channels in there. The YouTube algorithm just understands who I am and it starts suggesting other videos to me that similar viewers have also enjoyed. So if you're a beginner, stick to 2 resources. Number 1, find a language learning structured resource, basically a course. On the YouTube bar, just search for A1 course. You can even filter this by playlist. It takes the guesswork out of learning, and a course is going to take you step by step so that you can build those base foundations. The second resource is going to be that immersive content targeting language learners. And the whole purpose of this is going to be to reinforce what you're learning in the structured course. So let me show you how I would do this as a complete beginner. I'm going to take Spanish because the only word I know is hola. I'd come to YouTube, type Spanish course A1. I watched the first video here all about greetings. Then to reinforce that, I go and search for Spanish A1 greetings. What are you called?
Me llamo Goyo.
This video is a little bit boring. It's for children. I've also found this video. It's very easy, but a bit more tailored to adults. When I search for A1 story Spanish, we also get these videos. This format's really good because there's pictures, and most of the time you'll be able to work out what the different words mean based on what's happening on the screen. So now for everybody, no matter if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced learner, before I dive into some of these technical methods, you're also going to massively improve in your target language if you do what I'm calling these habit methods. The first one is going to be passive listening at any opportunity that you can. Cleaning, driving to work, on public transport, cooking, or relaxing. You'll just get used to hearing the language. When you come across a YouTube channel that you like, first of all, subscribe to it. And second of all, when you come across a video that you really love, like it and save it to a playlist. Whenever you come into the app, it just reduces some of that time to actually find something interesting to watch. Plus, doing all this is going to send signals to the algorithm that you like it, so it's going to recommend you similar videos. And the second habit method that I suggest is that when you have something very specific in your life that you need to solve or you want to research, instead of searching for information in your native language, try searching for it in your target language. This could be something like a makeup tutorial or finding a dinner recipe, for example, researching something or preparing for a project that's happening in your life. So now, how should you actually watch or study a YouTube video when you sit down to watch it? These are going to be the technical methods that I'm going to share with you. When you are targeting something specific in your language learning, you can basically fish out the best method that's going to be applicable for that skill. Improving pronunciation and intonation. The first method is shadowing. Enable subtitles or the Language Reactor Chrome extension. At the end of each sentence, pause the video. Then repeat what was spoken. Try to mimic the pronunciation, intonation, and accent. You can use the keyboard shortcut S to repeat the current subtitle on the screen, or even use the A shortcut to go to the previous one. When doing this on your phone, I suggest reducing the double tap rewind time limit to something quite small, like 5 seconds. And when doing this exercise, when you come across something that you're struggling with, just keep repeating it until you're happy.
Quand tu le dis à quelqu'un de ta famille, ça peut être réputé.
Quand tu le dis à quelqu'un de ta... Quand tu le dis à quelqu'un de ta famille, ça peut être répété à tous les autres membres de ta famille, crois-moi. Quand si tu le dis à quelqu'un de ta famille, ça peut être répété à tous les autres membres de ta famille, crois-moi. Okay.
The second method is mirroring. Mirroring is like shadowing, but this time you're also going to mimic the gestures that somebody does. There is research to suggest that this improves your confidence when speaking, plus also your fluency in the language. Speed and fluency. A method I like for this is chorusing. The Language Reactor vertical view or the transcript on your mobile are going to be a must for this because you're going to need to see the upcoming subtitles in the video. You are basically going to simultaneously speak along with the speaker. As they say their words, you say the words.
Bah non, papa. En fait, il faut que tu sortes du crâne l'idée que tes proches, tes partenaires, tes amis, c'est un carnet d'introspection. C'est un carnet d'introspection. Oh my god. C'est un carnet d'introspection.
Play around with the video playback speed if you're struggling with this. A tip is that I like to use a YouTuber that I really like how they speak the language. So for German, I absolutely love Deutsch mit Lara, and for French, who is Constance? Now for expanding your vocabulary. I like to choose a video that I know that I'm already going to understand pretty well, but obviously not everything. I don't want to get demotivated spending all my time just translating words rather than enjoying the video. So you're going to watch the video and read the subtitles in the target language. Pause the video when you don't understand a word, expression, or phrase.
Aufsaugen kann.
Read it, see if you can make sense of it. If not, then translate the word. This is what the dual subtitles are awesome for. You can also click on the words and scroll down and often see the word used in other contexts. If you have the Pro plan for Language Reactor, this is where that can come in because you can actually right-click on the words and this is going to save them into your own personal database. They'll show up in yellow, and so you can also later on go back to this database in the software and review these words. Plus you can also export them, for example, to Anki. And when you watch other videos, they are also going to come up in yellow. So you'll be able to see immediately that that's a word that you are learning. I will right click on the words, but I will also copy the full sentence and save it to my Notion note. If I'm doing this on my phone, I will just type out the sentence manually. When I look back over my notes, I'm not just seeing some random word that I can't remember what or where I saw it. I'm seeing it in a sentence. So it often makes a lot more sense and also helps consolidate that word in my head. Festigen, that's a new word that I learned lately. If you've done all this and you notice that the word still doesn't make sense to you in the current context, you can put the word into Reverso, ChatGPT, or Youglish to see it come up in more and more contexts. I've also done a whole video about learning new vocabulary, and I share all this plus more in that video. So you want to repeat this process until the end of the YouTube video, but it does not stop there. What's also important is that you're going to save this video to a learning playlist. The next day or even the next week, you're going to watch or listen to that video again. See what you can retain. What can you understand? Is it all easy? Or are you going to actually have to go back through it and more actively again pay attention to those words? We need to see new words several times before we can properly use them. And if you don't like doing flashcards like me, doing it this way, you just get this natural spaced repetition. Also go back and read over your notes. Just 10 minutes when you're lying in bed, when you know you should be going to sleep, but in reality we're on our phones, have a read of your vocabulary instead. Improving listening comprehension. Listening to words in a foreign language is one thing. Understanding the meaning of what is being said is a whole other thing. For this activity, you're going to hide the subtitles in both languages. In Language Reactor, you can go into the settings and disable them. Sometimes you will be amazed at what you can understand when you don't look at the subtitles and you challenge yourself to understand what is being said. Ideally, you want to watch the whole video through without subtitles, without pausing anything. But if I'm being honest, if I watch the same thing twice in a row, I'm just gonna find that really boring. What I do instead is that I'll often listen to a video first when I'm driving to work, and then if it's a really good video, I like it, I wanna delve deeper into it, I will kind of flag that to do a bit more of a deep dive sesh later. So when you're doing your deep dive, again, hide all the subtitles. Watch the video through, and as soon as something doesn't make sense, go back and replay what is being said. Really try to listen. What is it you understand? What is it you don't understand? Is it that you understand all the words, but you're not comprehending the meaning? If you figured out the meaning just by listening to it over and over again, keep going with the rest of the video. If not and you're stuck, you can hover over the subtitles and read it in your target language. If you come across a new word that you don't understand, then you can perhaps also combine this exercise with the learning new vocabulary previous exercise. You want to still replay that line and still hear it and listen to it over and over until it makes sense. Then keep going with the rest of the video.
Was du bereits weißt. Wenn du also mit der Absicht lernst, es für bedeutsam hältst und es dir vertraut in, was du bereits weißt. Wenn du also mit der vertraut in, was du bereits weißt. Wenn du also mit der Absicht lernst, es für bedeutsam hältst und es dir vertraut.
Mit der Absicht, ja, I know that.
Wenn du also mit der Absicht lernst, es für bedeutsam hältst und es dir vertraut.
Bedeutsam hältst?
Es für bedeutsam hältst und es dir
bedeutsam hältst, ja, I don't understand. Wenn du also mit der Absicht lernst, es für bedeutsam.
Also mit der Absicht lernst, es für bedeutsam hältst und es dir.
I'm gonna save that.
Improving your grammar. So the first exercise is quite obvious. It is to just watch grammar explanation videos on YouTube. But you can also improve your grammar by watching immersive content. So this time I'll watch a video, but I will just pay attention to the sentence structures, the conjugations, the letters being used, how words are spelt, the placement of certain words. Why is it here and not here? And I just ask myself if I have understood everything in this sentence. When the answer is no, there's an anomaly that stands out to me as something I don't understand.
Geschaffen worden.
First, I can click on the word and go over to the grammar tab. I get a little bit of a description. I can scroll down, see some examples, but sometimes it just doesn't give me the understanding that I want. So when this is the case, I will send it to ChatGPT and ask for more examples that use a similar grammar structure and also ask for a grammar explanation. Examples are powerful because we learn language through pattern recognition. Grammar's still quite intense though, so normally after I learn one or two things, I'll stop focusing on noticing more grammar and just switch to reinforcing what I've learned or switch to one of the other methods that I've already talked about. For a tip for this, you want to pick a video that is slightly easier for you to understand. Personally, I don't want to have to try to understand a video that's quite challenging when I'm actually trying to look out for anomalies. Learning with YouTube is just one fun method to learn a language that I wish I had discovered sooner. But if you are looking for even more really fun and creative ways to learn a language, go and check out this video here next. And if you're learning French or German, I have done a few videos that mention YouTube channels that were helpful to me, so I really hope that one of those can help.